welcome to the Archer Media podcast. Kushal, we're really excited to have you. Can you introduce us a little bit about your company and your role in it?
Okay, hi, this is Kushal Patil. I'm the founder of Sinewave Academy, and we started this company around 4 years ago, right after lockdown, where the
Okay.
EdTech scene was sort of booming. And yeah, this is the introduction. Sinewave Academy teaches audio engineering, music production to aspiring engineers, as well as we cater to schools where schools can outsource music education from us.
Okay.
We cater to CBSE, state, and even ICSE now. So yeah, this is the introduction about the company as well as me. I'm 22,
Mm-hmm.
and I started this whole thing when I was probably 17, 18, I guess. Yeah.
Very good. So, uh, you work with engineers and you work with schools, right?
So we have engineers who work under us where they train students,
Okay.
and then we have music teachers who go to schools and teach students. So
Okay.
we work with engineers and teachers, and we provide education to um, usually working professionals who want to switch careers and they are interested in like production and engineering,
Okay.
and directly to schools. So one is B2C and one is B2B.
Hmm.
Yeah, the engineering and production is B2C. We directly approach the student and then have a fee structure and those things. The school one is totally B2B, so we directly charge the school for
Okay.
the outsourcing.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And how did you get into this? How did you start?
This goes back to when I was in eighth grade,
Mm-hmm.
because I was a huge fan of Justin Bieber, right? And I really wanted to be Justin Bieber when I grew up. Like I started singing, I started making covers, but then I realized that to become a singer and grow, especially in you know being independent in India is really really hard. So I realized that early, thank God, and then I switched my lane towards the next step. So what if I'm not able to achieve goals as a singer? What is the next step that I can do and earn money in this particular field?
Mm.
That was audio engineering and music production, because regardless of an artist making um, millions of streams or making millions of so basically selling tickets, right? Regardless of going or reaching that level, he or she has to pay for a studio in order to get the recording done.
Right.
So that initial thing is profitable.
Yep.
Regardless of him or her reaching that level, we earn money regardless, right? So that thing fascinated me when I was pretty young, and then I was like, yeah, this is the field that I want to go. Of course, it's my favorite field. Music is my favorite field. But then something profitable on the side, something stable on the side is music production and audio engineering. So I started when I was 17, 18. I still have this iPad. I'm not finding it. So yeah, this is the iPad that I started with
Yeah.
production, the whole thing. So this has, GarageBand. So
Mm-hmm.
when I was 17, 18, I used to record stuff on this, mix on this, and release on this. But then, of course, I had to upgrade. But that's how I started. This is the start of music production in my life.
Okay. So you started
Yeah.
at 17, and then now it's more of an academy. Do you also do music production, or is it just an academy?
So I still do music production. I'm a certified Dolby engineer. So
Okay.
we mix in Dolby Atmos. If you
Yeah.
have an Apple device and if you listen to music on Apple Music, you see that there's a small Dolby Atmos
Mm.
logo. So we mix for that. That is the surround sound thing now, and for movies as well. So I'm an audio engineer fully. I don't produce music as such, but I'm a vocalist. So I write music.
Okay.
I'm a songwriter. I sing, but I don't produce music as such. But I'm solely an audio engineer. I would say mixing, mastering in Dolby Atmos, recording engineer. So these are my roles to be specific.
Okay. And so, in this field right now, are
Yeah,
you seeing any trends?
there is one major trend on which we sort of monetized. I would say
Okay.
we saw that students or aspiring engineers or artists don't want to go to studios anymore. They
Okay.
don't want to go to a studio and spend 20 30K on a song. Instead, they want to spend 20 30K on a small setup in
Hmm.
their bedrooms and want to become bedroom engineers.
Hmm.
And hence we monetize on that, because a lot of students were like, okay sir, I have this microphone, I have this interface, what next? The next step is you learn audio engineering and do it yourself. So I
Hmm.
see a DIY trend. Studios will soon be, not extinct, because of course big players like Saregama, T Series, they will exist. Huge movies will come up. Huge artists will be having studios. But these small studios who were catering for small artists will slowly go away, is what I'm seeing. And currently, the city that I grew up in, Hubli,
Hmm.
had around 6 studios when I was starting, and now
Okay.
there are zero. And even I had a studio here, which I had to move to Bangalore. So I see a trend. There are no studios in my city because every artist has a microphone with them and they don't need a studio. So yeah.
Okay. And so I'm assuming that there are people who have their microphones and stuff. They start getting into music, and at some point they realize, okay, we want to take this one level higher. They look into
Yeah,
studios and they're like, okay, that's too expensive. So what else
exactly.
can I do? And that's basically when they find out about you.
Exactly. So they are sort of beginners or intermediate professionals, I would, no, intermediate producers, I would say,
Hmm.
and then they want to reach the professionality that these songs like T series and they put out, right? Uh, but to reach that level, they have to go to a studio, and it's quite expensive for a beginner. So they reach a small, so there's a small market gap, I would say,
Hmm.
where we come in, where you can learn professionalism yourself just by paying that small amount which you would pay to a studio once, right?
Hmm.
So you go to a studio, pay 30K for one track, you pay 30K to us, and then you can produce tracks forever.
Hmm.
So that's where we come in.
That's a pretty good way to do that. So,
Yeah.
uh, how do people find you?
We are on Instagram. So Instagram is the only place that we are active on.
Hmm.
I'll tell you why. Because again, because you asked me, do you see any trends? I see music is being put out. I mean, in the form of covers only on Instagram. You don't see it on Facebook. Probably you'll see it on YouTube Shorts,
Hmm.
but still in India, the highest engagement rate and everything goes to Instagram. And there are more than 1 crore musicians who are on Instagram putting out covers every single day, who are struggling to grow. So the only place that you will find us is on Instagram. Again, we are everywhere. We are on LinkedIn, we are on YouTube, but Instagram is our core place where you can see our content, learn
Okay.
something for free. Of course, we have millions, thousands of posts actually, and millions of people have reached. I mean, you can see it
Yeah.
on the reach, right?
Yeah.
Almost 2 million people have learned stuff for free using our posts and reels.
Okay.
So you can reach out to us on Instagram. Yeah.
And I'm assuming that anyone who eventually becomes a student or they buy from you,
Yeah.
all of them find you through an Instagram post, then they
Yeah.
consume your content.
I would say, yeah, anybody. So, people who aren't even interested in music production, that means my initial followers, if I would say, because when we start, not everybody is in the, what do you say, niche that we
Right.
want to create, right? So, photographers, engineers, doctors, viewed our profile, they came to our profile and then they were interested. They were like, this seems interesting. This is something that I would look at interestingly. So yeah, that is another trend that we see, that people are interested and they don't even know that this exists.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah,
So you're basically even educating them on that. So,
exactly. We are creating some sort of awareness in the youth of India that this also exists. This is also a very valid uh, stream to enter.
hmm,
Yeah.
okay. And so, with all that, what does your day to day look like right now?
My day to day is basically for 2 years actually it was all micromanaging the startup because we are a startup, right?
Hmm.
We started 4 years ago, but our company got private limited around 1.5 years ago.
Okay.
Right. So after that, at least we have automation. So we have a chief operating officer who does all the operation stuff.
Hmm.
किस टीचर को हायर करना है, किसे फायर करना है, and when do classes start, when is the next batch. So all of this stuff is done by people now because it's all automated. We have teachers, we have around 4 5 teachers who teach. They are spread across India. So pehle it was all micromanaging stuff. Sales bhi dekhna hai, then we had to look after the marketing stuff, look at ads, right? Now for me, it's all about allocating resources for people who are working. So we have a team who works on ads. I allocate resources, I give them the market, and then they do the things. And then I go talk to teachers about the whole thing, that how's it going, how's it moving forward, when will be when will we be able to start the next batch.
Hmm.
So all of this stuff still, it's micromanaging, but it's better than the previous years, I would say.
Yeah.
And then lastly, I personally take classes because I love teaching. That is why I started this whole thing. And for important subjects like Dolby, Atmos, and mixing mastering, this becomes very important that I sit and teach because these are important topics. We can't let somebody else take control over these things because
Hmm.
these are the academy's USP. Dolby Atmos and mixing mastering is actually the USP because we are very very good at it. Our team is
Okay.
very good at it.
So you set
So
the standard yourself.
yeah, and I don't want. I mean, again, this differs, but I don't want to give it away. I don't want to totally be dependent on other teachers because of course this in this market people move on from one company to the other company. So if I'm very very dependent upon one person for Dolby Atmos, and if they leave, for me to adjust to that routine and then me to find another person who is that capable, it's a little weird. So
Yeah.
better hai, I'll take the whole thing. So yeah. So my day
Ah,
to day looks like micromanaging, teaching, and a little bit of basketball, I would say, and a little bit of PlayStation. So yeah.
okay. And I'm assuming that you like the teaching part more, or do you like the business part more? Like, if once the company grows, if you had to
Yeah.
specialize in one side, which one would it?
I would stick with business because we've grown this a lot. Initially, we would do like 2 students a month. Now we are up at 15, 16 students a month
Okay.
in just 1 year.
That's
So
besides the schools.
beside the schools,
Yeah.
schools actually we are starting this whole thing in June, but we have already onboarded a couple schools like
Okay.
already for the June thing.
Okay.
So and we did this in the past 1 year. So ek saal pehle we just had 2 to 3 students coming in per month. Now it's grown to 15 16 students on average. I'm talking about like average because some months you
Okay.
reach around 20, some months you're
Hmm.
at 6 8 probably. So yeah, so I'll stick with the business thing because I know how this industry works. I want to work, I want to scale.
Hmm.
But if I stick to teaching, then it'll hinder the whole thing because I don't currently have a co-founder who is at that level, who is at that caliber to scale this thing. So I would actually stick with the business stuff, and there are way better teachers than me, way better musicians than me who can take care of the syllabus way better than I do.
Hmm.
So I can trust on them, and then I can move on with the business. Yeah,
Okay. Okay. And since you said that business is the thing that you're focusing on, are there
yeah.
any metrics that are more important to you right now?
Um, in what sense? Because there are two things. One is audio engineering and music production. One is the schools. So, what
Um,
sort of metrics are we talking about?
let's say the audio side, because schools are just starting right now. So let's the
Okay,
yeah.
okay, but what sort of metrics? Like,
Oh, okay.
give me an
So
example.
anything related to scaling, right? Like you said that around 15 to 16 people are coming a month. Is
Yeah,
that something you're looking to grow? Are you looking at the followers? What are you
I
focusing
see.
on?
I see. Okay. So for now, because we actually, you need to know a little about the company as well, how we started, why we started.
Hmm.
Um, if you look at diploma programs in audio engineering and music production, you will find 1 year diploma courses which cost around anywhere between 1 lakh to 3 lakh rupees a year,
Okay.
right? This is the industry standard, and the syllabus is usually dragged. It
Hmm.
is like dragged for a year just to justify the fees that they are
Yeah.
uh, charging you, right?
Hmm.
अगर 2-3 महीने में खत्म हो गया, then no one will go pay 1 lakh rupees or something, right? So I was facing the same issue when I started around
Okay.
4-5 years ago. I wanted to go to Pune. I won't take the name of the college, but I wanted to join the college.
Hmm.
But then I looked at the fees and it was like too expensive for me. It was around 6 lakhs for the whole thing. Apart
Okay.
from living there, apart from
Hmm.
my food expenses, because I'm from Karnataka, living in a different city has its own expenses. So it was quite expensive. Plus, COVID hit, and then the whole thing was online. And online, में it was around 1.5 lakhs or something. So I was like, ठीक है रुकते हैं, let's wait for the COVID to calm down and then I'll go join,
Yeah.
because I wanted to do this full time. But in that 1 year, I gathered resources from Juilliard School, from Berkeley, if you know,
Yeah.
Berkeley, Boston, right? I had research papers and then I read everything in a year. And then I realized this thing isn't that difficult if you really put your mind into it. And next year, 2020, 2021, I went there. I checked the whole syllabus and I was like, ये तो आता है मुझे. And मैंने घर बैठ के सीखा. And this is not something you charge like 6 lakhs on this whole thing. So then I talked to my dad and I said that I'll take a drop. I mean, I'll just drop out. So he was a little skeptical initially कि drop out तो मत करो, because this field is quite new for all of us.
Yeah.
My whole generational, if you see the whole generation, I mean all the generations previously, there is no musician in my ancestry. There is like zero music at all, and I'm the first one. So my parents were very very skeptical.
Hmm.
Then I started, um making music, mixing, mastering for other people,
Okay.
because I had learned the skill. I recently, back then, I just got a Mac Mini, my speakers and everything. So I was like fully equipped, and I was like, let's go. I'll do this full time. But then I saw the market in Hubli, which was really
Yeah.
bad.
Okay.
So then I got a couple of clients from Mumbai, Pune, Bangalore,
Hmm.
and then even today I stick with these three cities for my students. Mumbai,
Okay.
Pune, Bangalore is our main centers for audience. One director from Mumbai reached out to me,
Okay.
and he wanted to learn from me because he saw my video on Udemy, and
Okay.
Udemy is a whole different story. I just wanted to do something about my skill, and I just wanted to put it out. So I made 30-minute videos of my syllabus and then I posted it on Udemy, and I was the first person in India to be verified on Udemy, and the youngest as well. So I was 17, 18 when I did it. Probably underage. They weren't taking my bank account, so I had to give my mom's bank account. So yeah, from there, a director reached out to me. He was like 42 or something. He was like, "Sir, आप मुझे सिखाओ." And I was like, "I can't do this. I'm just 18. I can't teach you." So he was like, "It's fine. Whatever you have uploaded on Udemy, just teach that in a dragged way, because I
Hmm.
want to go in depth."
Hmm.
I said, "Okay." And then he was like, "How much do you charge? How much should I pay you?" I'm like, "I don't know what to charge." मुंह पे मैंने कुछ बोल दिया 5,000. He's like, "Okay, done." He paid me, and then I sat to note down the whole syllabus. After the first sale was done, I was creating my syllabus then. Once I did that, there was no looking back. And then my main goal to do this was affordability.
Hmm.
I saw a lot of people like me struggling to learn music production from YouTube as well, because YouTube is, you don't know what to learn. You don't know what to search even when you are a beginner. You don't know what to search.
Yeah.
What is a
The
compressor? You'll search.
keywords. Yeah.
Exactly. You learn about a compressor and EQ. What is next? You don't know what is next.
Hmm.
So there needs to be a mentor in order to learn music production and audio engineering, I would say. So if you ask me the metrics, we still stick to affordability. That is one thing, and we need to still, go in the same way. So I initially didn't think that okay, we'll start with 10-20,000, then eventually move up to 1 lakh rupees like all others did. We still stick to 10,000 rupees itself. Our fees is 10,000 for the whole thing compared to the industry
Okay.
standard, which is 1 lakh. So we are running at 10% of the industry
Hmm.
fees, providing more curriculum.
Okay.
We teach Dolby Atmos, which is missing. And our metrics is we can currently teach around 30 people in a batch, and that
Okay.
is our upper limit because attention will be scattered if there are more people in a batch. Even 30 is a little high,
Hmm.
so 15 to 16. So I would say we have hit a somewhat of a plateau in this particular audio engineering and music production because this is all we can do.
Okay.
We can't scale that much, right? But of
Why?
course, I'll
Why?
tell you why. First thing is there are only so many students coming out in a year, passing out from 11th 12th standard every year, and that is our main market. But then I realized on Instagram ads or any ads you can't reach this audience because Instagram bans you from reaching
Age.
people
Yeah.
below 18, right?
Hmm.
You need to reach people above 18. And when it comes to above 18, the market for which we need to teach audio engineering and music production is really small. So we have to wait every year for people to come to Instagram and turn 18 so that our ads can reach them, right? This is one
Hmm.
hindrance that we have found. This hindrance was removed when we looked at schools because schools में तो बच्चे ही हैं and
Hmm.
there is unlimited market in India because of the
Yeah.
population peaking, right? We are the youngest population in the whole world. I
Hmm.
think China and India, right? So it's just not even China. I would say China still has like older population.
Yeah. India
India
is
is
the
the
youngest.
India is the youngest population, and it won't stop for another 20-30 years. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure, right? So in the sense of metrics, I would say that we have hit a plateau in audio engineering and we have a steady income. I would say that is another thing. We are not looking to go aggressively on the sales. We have hit a good stability now. In schools, we are looking for
Yeah.
the metrics. So initially, within 2025 academic year, which starts in June, we want to hit around 15 to 20 schools. And in 2025, 2026, finishes the next year. I mean, so the
Yeah.
2026 2027 June tak, we want to hit around 100 schools across India.
Okay.
And for this, we are targeting major cities like Bangalore, Pune, Mumbai. As I told you, these are our major cities. Hyderabad, Chennai, Ahmedabad, Delhi, Kolkata. These will be our next cities.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
That's that's actually a very sound strategy. So you said that you want to hit around 50 this year and 100 next year.
15 to 20 this year, that's it. We can't
15
hit
to 20.
50
Yeah.
in that. I mean, we just have probably 2 months or 3 months left
Yeah.
until they
Yeah.
start, drafting for the next year's
Hmm.
intake and stuff. So, yeah, 15 to 20 this year, up to 100 by next year. So, we'll
Okay.
work all year until next year, June, to make sure that we have 100 schools.
Okay. And do you have some like strategy to get there?
Uh, Firstly, initially at least we use our network to reach to principals and presidents of schools,
Okay.
right? That's all we can do currently. Once we scale, once we have the funds, right, sufficient funds, we are bootstrapped totally,
Hmm.
and we are not looking for, to raise funds currently. Of course, in the future when we need to disrupt the industry, because we don't have any competitors as of such right now, who is like outsourcing music, probably one or two. In order to disrupt, we'll be needing funding. So currently, it's all networking. Once we reach that plateau as well, once we've reached all the connections, it's exhausted. We'll go with straight up, cold approach. We say we hire MBA graduates who are very very good with communication and English, and we'll spread them across India to go and close for B2B. So they are called as B2B closers, if you know, right?
Yeah.
B2B closers everywhere, and just random cold approach We don't care because we'll be having the funds to sustain them.
Hmm.
So yeah, that is our approach to reach 100 schools.
Okay. So I'm assuming till around 15 you're still looking for the your own network, and after that, probably you'd have the funds to go more cold.
Exactly. One or two schools will give us enough funds to sustain. That is how the B2B network works, right?
Yeah,
For
yeah,
enterprise sales, the initial ticket size is very, very high.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, we do work with enterprise companies, so
exactly.
yeah. And so, but you said you have around 5 to 6 people who are ready, schools that are ready already.
Yes, so in Hubli Dharwad we have around two schools. In Navi Mumbai we have around two, and then in
Okay,
Bangalore we have around two. Yeah.
okay. So, but that starts in when their year starts, I'm assuming.
That starts in June. They actually start their year in April, as you know. For high
Yeah,
school, they just started early because of the
yeah,
whole
yeah.
syllabus thing. We'll start in June. So
Okay,
until then, we need to construct a studio room in their school, import all the not import, get all the equipments, get all the guitars, pianos in their school, and then get
okay.
ready with the syllabus. A little prerequisite is required because students are very, very new to this music thing because not a lot of schools have music. So uh, according to our research, 80% of schools don't have a music thing. They just have a subject and then maths teacher is going to substitute it for their syllabus is what we've seen. And
Yeah.
more than 80% have not touched any music instrument actually. Only the big schools like DPS, these schools have proper music syllabus and have
Hmm.
drums and stuff. All
Yeah.
the medium-sized schools still don't have anything. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. And so, uh, do you also have teachers that are in these places that you'll be hiring to
Yeah, we
teach?
already have a network of teachers, plus we will be looking for hiring new teachers as well. But according to our research, there are a lot of teachers who run, tuition like music classes. In the sense, in their houses, they have a small setup and then they teach guitar and stuff. So our plan is also to empower these teachers who are earning probably 15,000 a month and give them a stable income of probably 30, 40,000 a month with
Okay.
healthcare, with PF, and with stability.
Yeah.
So yeah, teachers, no, we'll be having no issues on that because the market is really, really big.
Okay. Okay. And so I'm assuming even the people who come from, like, let's say your audio production side,
Yeah,
eventually some of them, if they're interested, can just become teachers and join you on
exactly.
those.
So we have a student base of 4,000 people, and most of them are youngsters who are looking for jobs and they are just switching jobs. So,
Yeah.
of course, in the future, if they're interested, we can directly hire from our base. So it's
Mm.
super easy for us.
Okay. And when you say 4,000 students, is that across like the free platforms and all, or just in the paid 10,000 course?
From the diploma program, it's around 350, 400 students, and rest are from our Skillshare and Udemy.
Okay.
Only from India, I'm talking about.
Okay.
If we go overseas, then it crosses more than around 10, 15,000 students.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good number. Okay. So you said there's only one or two competitors. Do
Yeah.
you think now that there's a trend in this direction that more people will come with like funding and stuff into this?
I think no, because currently people are not aware that this is an opportunity, and nobody really knows how to structure music as of now. And if at all a huge company like an academy or something comes,
Hmm.
they would probably buy out these companies before establishing.
Hmm.
They won't play as competitors because they don't operate slowly, right? They buy out, they take all the resources that we already have built. So suppose
Hmm.
in 5 years we've built around a network of 250 schools. An academy won't go approaching 250 schools. They
Yeah.
will take what is already established and they will buy out companies and they will run is what we think, but there will be no competition as such. So that is a good thing. That is what I've done research on,
Okay.
and we are open for it. I mean, yeah, you can't do anything when big companies like Byju's come and take up the whole market. We can't do anything. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So long term, like you said, maybe in 5 years, are you looking to do this for an extended period of time? or you might be looking into selling this eventually?
This is somewhat of a mixed opinion for me, or my opinion is a little biased towards my goals, because my main goal to start this whole thing was to empower the musicians of India who are struggling, right? If I sell the whole company for some money, then I would be defying the whole thing of starting this because it'll be like मैंने बेच दिया and then I'm purposeless. Imagine I sell the company and if they give me a no compete agreement, what will I do? I can't do anything in the music field,
Yeah.
right? So and then I look at a future which they are not looking at, and then it's just कि मैंने छोड़ दिया मेरे ड्रीम को.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see if I'm able to achieve what I need to achieve in the next 5 years, and nobody is coming to approach me for potential sellout. Then I think I'm very satisfied. 5-10 साल तक. Later on we can see, because तब तक तो सब settle हो चुका होगा, and then
Yeah.
we can move on. But 5 years at least I will work on this rigorously so that I am satisfied with what I'm doing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great vision to have. Um, and there's one question that we ask everyone, and
Okay.
everyone has a different answer, completely different answer. So
Okay.
I'm curious what you are going to say.
Okay.
If you had like a magic wand right now, and you could
Okay.
solve one problem in your business or something like that,
Okay.
what would that one thing be?
Closing of schools would be very easy if schools just knew about Sinewave Academy, or closing of schools would be easy. First thing, just if I use a wand and if this particular thing would happen, I would say schools just agree to us regardless of anything. They won't eat our heads much. Just go, just show this that we have this, and they would be like, yes, go ahead. Because of course we are bringing a change here, and even though we are trying to help out schools grow their school as well, like
Mm.
which school would disagree having a great music program for like cheap,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
But still some schools are a little bit rigid, so I would just use the wand on them and just whitewash them. That's a very unethical way of doing the business, but that's the only roadblock I would say, because we have everything ready. We have all the resources. It's just about approaching schools and getting schools on board. It's just like Oyo, right? Oyo, when Ritesh Agarwal started, he wanted hotels to get on board and he faced rejections, right? So if you would give a magic wand, initially he would say कि सारे hotels मेरे under आ जाए,
mm.
and then he would reach his goals, right? So it's the same thing. Everything comes down to sales.
Mm.
Lastly, you would say everything would come down to sales.
Kushal, it was really good to have you here. I'm sure the audience, everyone who's listening, they learned a lot, and the idea with Sine Wave Academy is pretty unique. You're doing something that I don't think anyone else is doing right now. So I hope I wish you the best, and thank you for coming.
Thank you.